So in addition to the religion system that's going to be in the game in approximately 6.5 days, the Tome of Knowledge that they added for newbies so that they can learn about like the game modes and merchant and like what everything does. And then the skins, there's a new skill for fighters that adds a 3-second long buff to a shield that will reflect a spell that you have to aim back at the spell caster if it hits the shield. It only works with shields. It doesn't work with long swords. The parry mechanic doesn't do it. We tried it. There is an emote now where you fart, which is interesting. Looks like this. There's also one where you snap your fingers like that, and it's got some variations. This one only shows like the one animation, but there's a couple where he does like a double snap like here. So it's kind of cool. Lobby emotes is a fist pound, table slam. And then there's the Whittling Hope, Wood Whittling. And then there's the item skin for the campfire, which we already showed when we sat down for it. It sounds all mystical and stuff. And then the Tainted Heart is like the soul heart of like one of your buddies if you got to go res him. It looks like this. It's got like this little smoky like particle effect on it. And then like the veins of the Tainted Heart have like little like purple electrical pulses that like go through it when you're holding it in your hand. It's kind of cool. And then the icons for the potions have been modified to reflect whatever skin you have on them. And a lot of the in-game icons have been adjusted. So like the falchion looks more like a messer now. A bunch of the other in-game icons like the rings are now a different skin like on the icons for them. There's a lot of stuff like that that's been like slightly modified. Same thing with like Francesca's look different in-game now. The game looks like it's been like it got a little bit of a facelift. Like it looks a little bit more trim. There is some stuff in the game that's like kind of hidden though. The first one is Curse of Pain got nerfed, and they didn't tell anyone. Originally, up until now, if you cast Curse of Pain on a target, every time you cast Curse of Pain, it would take that little bit of burst damage. Like the 7 to 10 damage, depending, or to 12 damage, depending on how much like additional magical damage you had on your stuff, and like percentage increases of damage, whatever. But the base damage was 7. And every time you cast a spell on them, it would hit them for 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. And then, like, the dot would get refreshed. Now they've changed it so that when you cast it, you get the initial burst when you cast it the first time. But as long as the dot is ticking on them, if you recast Curse of Pain over the top of an existing running curse, all it does is refresh the curse. It doesn't do damage every time that you cast it on somebody anymore. And that's intended. But they didn't put it in a patch note. So we all kind of found it together. They buffed it back slightly. So now that the initial hit, instead of being 7, is now 15, and the dot damage is 20 over the 8 seconds instead of 15 damage over the 8 seconds, is what they've said. So, like, hidden stuff, though. Okay, so one of the things that you can do is you can pull up the map. Like, the interactive map on the wiki has been updated, okay? There are unique mobs on each one of the different maps that have a 0.01 or 0.025% chance to spawn that you can kill. They're like larger, special looking, and they have a name instead of it being like skeleton or like skeleton footmen. They each one has like their own name. So, for instance, on the new Ruins map, if we go to Ruins and we look at living armor, okay, these are all the living armor spawns that are on the map. So in the Great Hall and the Chapel, if you click on these, it says Grotox, 0.02% chance to spawn. He drops a Thorn Shield, which is a buckler that returns 5 physical damage to the attacker if you block with it, okay? And there's a bunch of these. There's a unique slime, so we can turn on slimes. The unique slime is called Osling. Osling drops a Rondel dagger called Hazeblade. If you hit a target with the dagger, it inflicts a 3-second drunken haze on your target. Unique giant ice spider on Ice Abyss. So there's this unique giant ice spider called Frostweaver. Frostweaver drops Tangle Thread trousers, their heavy leather legs, reduces an enemy's movement speed by 50 points, 5%. Reduces their movement speed by 5% for 2 seconds when you attack them. There is a wizard staff from a Frost Imp. So if we turn on Frost Imps, there's a named Frost Imp named Grimsley. He drops a Spell Plunder Rod. And this is like, if you find these guys, it's a 100% chance to drop, by the way. So if Grimsley ends up fighting you in one of the spawns that a Frost Imp spawns in, because there's only a couple, but if you end up fighting Grimsley, it's a 100% chance that he has this item on him, by the way. So the rarity is the spawn, not the drop rate, okay? So he drops a Spell Plunder Rod that says 24 spell memory per hit when you attack with it. Then there is a unique Frost Wolf, so that's going to be in Ice Cavern. Ice Cavern, Frost Wolf. So for whatever reason, like the Frost Wolf isn't listed, but that's okay. There's a unique Frost Wolf that drops Stillmend Boots. When you stand still, you recover 1 HP every 5 seconds. There is a unique Mimic, so we can just say like Crips and then turn on mimics. So there's a unique mimic. The unique mimic drops a wandering lantern that reveals the footprints of enemy players within 2.5 meters of where you're standing. So it acts like, you know, ranger tracking, but a very short throw. And then last but not least, there is a skeleton footman on ruins. There's a skeleton footman. That dude's name is Warbone. Warbone drops a short sword called Bloodsap Blade. Dealing physical damage to an enemy heals you for 1 HP. So there you go. So it acts like a mini Shadow Touch. Those are all of the, like, minor uniques that got added to the game. That's what those minor uniques are. That's what they were referring to in the patch notes. So what they look like, there's also other mobs in the game that aren't actually in the game yet, but have placeholders. So this is a loot goblin that's in the game files, but not in the game yet. This is the unique giant ice spider. This one came out weird, but this is like the unique ooze, like the Osling, but obviously it's not rendering correctly because of like how it's set up. This is the unique skeleton footman. He's got a Viking helmet on, so that's how you can tell that he's unique. There's a Spectre that's not in the game yet. Basic stuff. Not done, obviously. And then there's the Banshee. So Banshee and the Suit of Living Armor boss, the Spectral Knight, are both bosses on Ruins. She doesn't work yet. Like, her character model's in the game, and she's, like, sitting at a fountain, like, being all sad and stuff, like, crying into her hands. But she doesn't wake up. You can't wake her up yet because there's, like, key stuff missing in the game files that won't activate her, so she's not ready. Okay, stuff that changed. Okay, so for the Ruins boss, the one Ruins boss that we can fight, that boss does not drop uniques. Inferno bosses drop uniques 3% chance per item generated. The Wyvern is a 5% chance per item to drop a unique. So instead of it being 1%, it's now been upped to 3 and 5 for HR. Uniques and artifacts are once again the same thing. They share the same drop pool, which means that the artifact weapons are in the same drop pool as unique grade, like the light brown or whatever, quality wearable items, because you can roll them, right? The treasure hoard in the game is, they said, mostly unchanged. So the gold coin chest, everybody wants to know how to get a gold coin chest. It only drops from an Inferno High Roller, Abyss High Roller, and then key rooms, like the Mystical Gem and Skull Key rooms, right? And like the treasure hoard from like Frozen Iron Key, etc. Goblin Caves, bosses, those treasure piles, the Crypt treasure pile that's in the middle of the one boss room map now, the room that has the Skeletal Champion and the Wraith in it, in the center of the map, has a treasure pile that's good for 3 pulls on it now instead. So you can get 3 pulls off of that. But instead of those treasure piles, though, don't drop a treasure chest. They will drop a gold coin bag, though, like the type that you would get from, you know, making one with a troll pill. They'll drop one of those instead of the chest, but for the same odds. So it's still like a 1 in 10,000 or something, but you could get a gold coin bag. There's also a stag in the game. Looks like a midnight stag. It's like a big, like, darkly colored stag. But those, like the stag, the loot goblin, the banshee, and the specter are not implemented yet, even though they have some stuff in the game files. There's a bug in the game right now for the Spectral Knight where you can just cheese it using Hellfire and it never wakes up, but it seems like that's touch and go because we just tried to do it and it didn't work, but the time before that we tried it, it did work. So I thought that maybe they fixed it in real time, but then when we went to fight him this last time and beat him heads up, I dotted him when I was, like, walking up to pull him and he started healing me right away instead of, like, after he was assembled, so I don't know. Okay, we have new arena map images. I can pull them up. Okay, so this is the wheel from the one Crypts map that everybody wants back is going to be an arena now, and you can see where there's like 4 spawn points around the arena. This is a larger one that they're looking at that's going to be a 3x3 layout is what they're kind of toying with. There's this one, which looks like it's going to be elements from Goblin Cave and then Frost at the same time. And then there's this one. So it looks like they've got like 6 working arenas right now. This one, and then this one, which is like ruins looking. Like this is like that the field in the ruins with the summoning circle, and then like a couple of adjoining rooms. Arena will have solo, duo, and trio. It looks like the first team to 3 wins, but also max number of rounds is 7. So I think that it's not finalized yet. There's also 3 super rare books that spawn on ruins in the bookshelves with a 0.05% chance for them to drop, but no icons, so they might not actually be in the game yet, and they have lore. So there's Diary of the Taz. The king's former court wizard composed this hunting diary detailing his descent into darkness arcane arts to satisfy the king's sinister ambitions. His quest for forbidden knowledge turned him into a lich, eternally chained to the castle he cursed with his master, a chilling reflection on the price of unwavering loyalty to dark magic. So that's the history of the lich. They have a manuscript for the warlord. The legacy of the Skeleton Warlord, once a stalwart defender who watched his king succumb to darkness, now bound as a spectral guardian, he eternally protects and commands the secrets and lingering spirits within the castle's forsaken walls, a testament to loyalty and the corrosive power of sinister magic. And then the last one looks like it's the background lore for the Ghost King. Deep within the enchanted dark forest, a castle shadows a story where an altruistic king's ambition spiraled into darkness. Obsessed with immortality, he sought the mythical Midnight Stag. To gain demigod-like powers, his tragic transformation into the Ghost King unfolds as a poignant tale of noble intentions leading to ruin echoing through the cursed halls. We've got playback obviously for the boss fight, killing the boss solo, which we did base kit wearing grays, gray spellbook, gray pants, gray gloves, gray everything, and a gray longsword. But all we did was use the spellbook and just kept dotting him and running around and hitting him with shadow bolts. But he's got a bunch of cool attacks, and I'll just show that in the VOD. There is a new torch that's in the game too. There's the stuff, and then there's also like this fish campfire, and then there's also like this dark flame campfire that's in the game files too, but it's not in the game yet. Oh yeah, the Midnight Curse on the Ruins map. The Midnight Curse Phase 1 is nothing. So like when the first bell chimes, you start seeing like little purple particles. Phase 2 is minus 5% PDR and MDR, magic and damage and physical damage resist. Phase 3, and then you start taking small ticks of damage. Phase 3 does more tick damage. It's like 3 true damage, and you have minus 10% PDR and minus 10% MDR. And then Phase 4, you start taking like a lot of tick damage. It's like 4 true damage per second, and then you have minus 50 and minus 50 PDR and minus 50 MDR. So you get both. And then the thing that kills you is like the last damage tick. Like when the timer hits 0, you'll just die to the storm damage, because it just whittles you out. You're done. But kind of cool though. So there's the Midnight Stag, and then the wolf, and then the suit of living armor, and then apparently there's also supposed to be living statues. Like those gargoyle statues are supposed to come to life at some point too, but it looks like those aren't implemented either. I haven't seen one of those stand up just yet. There is another bug too where people are saying that the wyvern can bug out on the fight, and so where they won't be damaged anymore after phase 2. Like they just stop taking damage, which is crazy. Other people are saying that they're able to kill them, but minor Frostwalker change. They activate the aura first instead of at a certain HP. Oh, really? So they changed how the zombies work, where they trigger the frost early. Like when they get close to you, they trigger the frost ahead of time. That's interesting. Oh yeah, that was the other thing. If you get up high, like, and I mean barely up high, like basically if your feet are like at or above the top of a door in height, the ruins, the skybox attacks you with crows. That's why there's all those birds in the sky. You'll hear them get like louder and more angry, and then they descend on you and they start circling and like pecking at you in like a ravenous like little swarm of crows or whatever. And you start taking like pretty rough dot damage. So like you have to get down from like wherever you are. So you can't camp. You can't like do the up high camp thing. Here's the Midnight Stag as a loading screen. Drawbridge. So there's two new like styles of extracts on Ruins. Well, one new style of extract, but 2 new extracts. On the northeast of the map, not all the way in the corner, but like one module from the northeast corner. There's a drawbridge that opens toward the end of the map that goes out from the north. And then the dead center of the map south, there's a drawbridge that opens that lets you out south. So it looks like this. It's like these little drawbridge icons. So there's a drawbridge icon here and a drawbridge icon here. This marker is where the Spectral Knight boss is. There's a set of stairs right here that go down and a set of stairs right here that go down. His arena is underneath. And then the other boss, I believe, is here, right? I think she's here on this set of stairs down. How many people can use it? I think it's just open. Oh yeah, you have to activate the drawbridge to drop, right? When it's available to be activated, you have to turn it on. And then it takes a minute for it to drop all the way, and then people can get out from it. So that's the Banshee boss. She's not ready yet, is what I'm being told. But once she's in the game, you'll be able to kill the Spectral Knight and then her, whichever. And then that'll open up the double door like treasure room that is going to be like in the middle between them, I guess. Where's the golems? So there's one here in the middle of the square. Oh, underneath, right? Because there's one that spawns underneath the square where the mining nodes are, along with the worm. It's either a golem or a worm. There's one here in the Great Hall, and then there's one here at the bridge. So I guess maybe they removed the one that's underneath the tower bridge then? Because the tower bridge had like the tunnel system that went underneath, and there was a golem that was in there, but maybe they removed it. My Spells and Guns map doesn't show ruins. I don't know, maybe reload it. So I can fight one downstairs at the bridge today. It could be that all the spawn points just aren't in yet. But I know that there was one that spawned underground. This one that's here is, this location's kind of off because it spawns like right here in between the two towers, like just kind of wedged in there. But I know that there's one, or there was one that spawned underground. This actually could be that marker because I think you go underground like in this little tunnel underneath, and then there was like a big wraparound area, like a big horseshoe, because you would break the little wooden wall or whatever on both sides, and it was like a horseshoe that went around. Spectral coin bag. Spectral coin bag is 2,500 gold storage. It's crafted from 1 enchanted dark fabric, 3 spider silk, 3 spectral fabric, and 1 gold coin bag. That's how you get a spectral one. Doorways on ruins have like this unique like doorway mechanic. Some of them are like vines that grew up out of the ground. You have to hit them like 5 or 6 times, and then they like wither away. They'll like sink back into the ground, and then you can like go through the doorway, but they grow back. And if somebody's standing in the doorway when they grow back, it will pin them in the doorway and start doing tick damage to them from the thorns. And Valiant died this morning from that. Yeah.
What the fuck? I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead.
To what?
Dead. I'm just dead.
How?
I'm stuck inside of it.
Why did you walk into the brambles?
It wasn't there. It just literally fucking appeared and
Yeah,
killed me.
they grow back.
It appeared and killed me.
Yeah, they grow back.
I was walking through it and it got stuck.
Yeah, they grow back. There's a couple of new traps in the game. There's ones where like if you walk down to like where the boss rooms are, right before the door, there's like a falling rocks that come out of the ceiling and like slam on the ground. If you're underneath them, they do a bunch of damage. And then in ruins on the stairs in like the main bridge room, there's a trigger on the steps that will drop like a fucking log with spikes on it that like rolls down the stairway at you, which is kind of silly. And I think the log's on fire too. It's like a log on fire with spikes sticking out of it that like rolls down the stairs and like tries to bowl you over. New harpy mob on ruins 2 that once you hit them like the first few times, they fall on the ground. Like you knock them out of the sky, they don't fly anymore. Like you broke their wings or something. But when they fall on the ground, it almost looks like they're dead, but they're not dead. Then they slowly get back up. They also have like this whirlwind like feather attack where they like, it's like they shoot out daggers in all directions that actually does a shit ton of damage. It hurts really bad. They're actually kind of dangerous, and they're more accurate on their like foot attack, like their foot like talon attack, than the frost wyverns are, and they hit really hard. It's actually shocking. So he has a couple of there's his charge right there. He like lunges forward, tries to skewer you. That's like a linear attack. It's pretty easy to get out of the way. It doesn't have a very big frontal hitbox. It's literally just the tip of his sword, it looks like. Then he has like an AoE thing where he like plunges his sword into the ground and does like a big AoE. If you're super close to him, he does like either a lateral like chest level attack that you can duck, or he'll do a ground slash at your ankles at like a downward angle that you can jump and duck over. But the wind up for those both of those attacks is hard to tell like which one is coming out because they both originate from like the same position. If you're like a little bit far away, he has this like larger swathing attack, and his sword is like connected. It's like a bunch of like little shards that's connected by energy, so that when he swings it, it like accordions out like a whip. So yeah, he just slashed me with that lateral attack right there because I was too close to him right here. So this is what it looks like. So because I'm as far away as I am and he can't hit me with a normal one, he's got like this wide swathing, like really like long reach, but you can kind of range it if you keep running away, which is why it swings through and it like arcs through here, just kind of missing me. But he's trying to catch me, man. Yeah, right there. That's the same attack again. So he's got like a lunge attack, and then he's got like a couple of combo moves that he'll do if you're close to him. He has like this wide swathing like chest level swing that he'll do to try and like catch you if you're like at medium distance, like Curse of Pain style distance. But as he catches up to you, he'll try and make a couple of swings, and he usually ends up doing like a 3-hit combo. And then this is where he plunges the sword in, and then it does like this little splash on the ground when he does it. So as I turn back, you'll see like the ground has like this little flash on it, like that right here. So this is like the rough AoE area of like where he hits. So you have to be outside of that because it's a one-shot mechanic. If he plunges his sword into the ground and you're in the explosion, you're dead. And then he leaves a shadow pool on the ground when it pops. So obviously you don't want to be walking in the funk on the ground. And then as you phase transition him, you end up forcing him into doing like these large whirlwind attacks. It's like this big large AoE in the room right here. So you can see he does like this big wind up, right? He's amping up. He's going Super Saiyan for a second. And then he's going to do like a really big, wide lateral swing. One's going to be up here and the other one's going to be down here, like around your waist. I don't think there's any avoiding this one. I think you just have to range it. It covers about 40% of the room. See that? So there's like 2 swings that come out. You might be able to initially, if he's not swinging at you, if he's looking at somebody else, this might be high enough to be able to duck it. But that second swing as it comes around starts like at a higher position and goes lower. So I think you might just eat one in the face if he does it. Now, it's not that low. I don't think you can just jump it. And there isn't enough time to be able to duck and then jump afterward because the swings come out too quick. See what I mean? Like, there's no way that you're ducking and then hopping that. Like, your feet gonna get caught. I think you just have to range it. I try to. But that's it, man. Like, and it looks like he does that big wide swathing spin like at like a third and then 2/3 gone of his health. He does it twice. And then the third time, or no, maybe he does it 3 times. And the third time I think is like maybe 10%. Then you just keep DPSing him down, doing the same kind of pattern, and he eventually dies. He has a couple of other attacks where like he'll do like the 1-2 combo when he'll like bum rush you, and then he does like a low swing or a mid swing, and then there'll be a third swing in the combo sometimes where he like somersaults up into the air and then like slams down with his sword like into the ground. And he has another one where he somersaults forward once he's in the air, and he like whips his sword way out in front of him in a straight line and like just slams on the ground. You literally just have to like move to the side and you're fine. I haven't been hit by either one of those 2 attacks yet. Neither one. Is Melee supposed to kill this boss at all? I think so. Like I said, I want to, like, the next time I fight him, I want to try and do it with a longsword and see if I can just get the parry mechanic down. But I would recommend, if you're going to try him, that you try him on a warlock, if you have a warlock, if you play one, and then run the undead damage reduction perk, because he counts as undead, and the damage that he does is definitely way less because of it. He has a lot of moves. He's got a lot of moves. Yeah. He also has another one where he'll disassemble himself and then he'll like reposition himself behind you. Like he'll just suddenly like disassemble, and then like you see like the spirit with all the armor like orbiting it like move like super fast. He'll just be like whoop, and then he like moves, and then he's just like on the other side of the map, or like he's behind you or whatever, and then he usually follows that with like a charge. Like he'll usually rush you after that. The boss typically drops blues. He cannot drop uniques. So there's a door right here. This door right here behind him unlocks when you kill him, and you go down, and there's a magnificent chest and a treasure hoard, like a treasure pile that you can loot. Again, that one won't drop treasure chests. It'll drop gold bags, like the 1,000 gold bag. It'll drop that. And you have to then kill the Banshee boss, which doesn't work yet, in order to be able to get into the center room between the two, which, you know, no one really knows what's in there, but I assume it's just more of the same, probably some like mining nodes or something. But yeah, so I just like ran around and kept hitting him with shadow bolts and like healing myself until he was dead. And I killed him with like a minute left. So it took me like 7 minutes to kill him, I want to say. Yeah, so there's like, maybe it was like a minute and a half. Yeah, it's right in here somewhere. Yeah, so there's the diving attacks. He jumps up in the air and he slams his sword down, but again, he's like easy to miss. You can't hit him in the legs because he doesn't have any, so if you fire a shot low, it will just like literally skim underneath him. Like he has no collision underneath like where the actual armor is floating in the air. Yep, and he died right there. That's it. Done. And it's actually kind of cool. When he dies in like this like little shockwave, and it actually knocks you back a little bit. Like ever so slightly knocks you back. You can see it like right here when I pop him, there's like this shockwave that comes out. Right there, that one, that little boof. Like, it actually knocks you back a little bit when he does it. There's a ruby silver node in the center of the map, yeah, where the worm is. Yeah. The boss is in the game. It's a Banshee. So this is in the middle, like the center column of the map. The second module from the top. She spawns on the other side, like same distance away, but she spawns on the other side, like south. And she's in that boss room. Yeah, she won't activate. Yeah, she's not activatable yet. It's not ready. But I think that's everything that's like kind of sort of hidden-ish.